I affectionately refer to myself as a PR slut, and I'm proud of this term. And if somebody is PR sluttier than I am, I really admire them. We can't afford advertising, and with a brand like ours, a craft beer, I almost question if advertising really would effectively build the brand or possibly put a negative spin to it, because people with a brand like ours, our customers don't really like to be advertised to, even though there's no question it still works in many different ways on people. But they like to feel like they discovered our brand, that they own it. And with advertising, I think that could have a negative kind of halo effect on our brand. How much is when we do get a news article or a piece on the TV news, how much is that worth? How do I value it? And I know that there's been a lot of probably college business school studies and analysis of how much it's worth, but I'll tell you how I look at it. A big ad in the Houston Chronicle costs, they claim $50,000 for a full-page ad, but good luck getting that today. So let's say it's about $10,000 to run a big ad. Getting an ad on the nightly news on TV is probably at least that much. In addition, you've got all the production costs to put that together. To get any kind of impact with an ad, you can't just run it once. You've got to run it several times, so multiply that a few times. People are skeptical of ads also, whereas when you get something in the news, people believe that to be the God's honest truth. Of course, when you read yourself misquoted, you start to wonder sometimes if they should be taking that quite so to heart so quickly. But when they read something in the newspaper, they see it on TV, one impression, and it's amazing how people retain that. They believe it, and it didn't cost you anything other than what I have to pay Dan every month. And so the bottom line is, I look at that big ad, the big piece in the newspaper or on TV as worth somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000. And that's an amount of money that we could never afford to actually pay, but the power of it is amazing. I also think that something that's very important with PR is the consistency. Have to constantly be out there working it. It's not something that you can just kind of do for a couple months and let it go. I can't tell you the number of times that we'll put together a press release, send it out there, maybe even really target a couple of reporters, and nothing. Then about 2 months later, they call up and say, I just came up on a great idea for a story. I'm going to do a story on St. Arnold. Don't you think that's great? And we go, yeah, great idea. Wish we thought of that. You're so clever. But also, consistent PR, I think, creates the image of legitimacy. The more people hear about you, obviously that means that you're a bigger deal. Also, that same effect affects reporters. The more that they hear about you, the more that they want to report on you. Then comes the even better part, which is then you become the industry expert. And that means that anytime they write on your industry, they call you. My favorite part is when anytime they start to write on a competitor, they call you. Talk about competitive advantage. When you get to spin the story on your competitor, that's a wonderful thing. Yeah, they're great people most of the time. Anyway, if you can't tell already, I'm a big fan of PR. So far in the past 30 days, we've had at least one nice article in the Houston Chronicle. On top of that, we've had at least 2 more just mentions in various other articles in the Chronicle. We've been on the nightly news on 4 different TV stations in Houston. If anybody was flying around in Spirit Magazine, Southwest Magazine in September, they had a little profile on me. I wanted to buy a ticket and fly around on Southwest and just pull the paper out and go, oh, look, an article on me. How about that? There can potentially be downsides to TV news. This Monday, Fox News came out, the local Fox News affiliate came out and shot a real nice piece on us, and it was about, down economy, a growing local business, isn't this wonderful? So I got all excited and I sat down and the news came on, I turned it on. The lead-in story was, MAD is laying off 20% of its workforce because of reduced funding. I'm going, no, please don't let us be the second story. But St. Arnold's doing great selling beer. Fortunately, there were a few stories in between ours and theirs.